Hello everybody, Spawner Rich here with my 13 best used vinyl finds for 2024. Plus my 3 favorite new releases of the year. Well, these used ones I think are pretty much in order of which I found them throughout the year. And we're going to start off with one of my favorites actually. Ska 67, a compilation of ska. It's fantastic though. It starts off with Guns of Navarone by the Skatalites. Skatalites? I don't know. Which I knew that song. Love it. This whole thing plays through. It's just a good feel album. Fantastic find. My next one is a 60s psych record. The Racket Squad, Corners of Your Mind. Side 1 of this is fantastic, with the exception of the last song, which is 42 seconds, so you can forgive them for that. Side 2 is good, but it's not as good as Side 1. Side 1 is really good 60s psych. People can kind of consider them a second tier, like a B movie. These are a B psych band, but I really like them, and I'm currently gonna seek out their first album. This next one is a little bit of a change of pace, and actually is one of my favorite finds of the year. I was surprised at how good this is. This is Nardcore, and this is on Mystic Records, and it's basically bands from the Oxnard area, which is just north of LA County. It's right there on the border. It's just fantastic, man. It's got Ill Repute, Rat Pack, RKL, Rotters, Dr. No, which is a favorite of mine, Stalag 13, Aggression, all great bands, and it's a fantastic comp. It's better than I imagined. The next one is Exploited, The Massacre. Look at that. Look at the band. I think it was written in Waddy's contract. He had to have a mohawk. Anyways, this came out in 1990. I didn't have any of their 90s. I think there's 2 records after this, and they have been re-released. And maybe in the new year, I might just buy the 2 reissues. But yeah, this is a really good album. It's a little more metallic sounding than their previous stuff, but it's really pretty much the same formula. Waddy didn't stray too far from his formula. The next one is a Crucifix. This was a surprising find for me. It's a band that I had heard of, but I had never really heard them. I've heard of them, but I'd never listened to them. God dang. I'm starting to sound like Kamala Harris. It's a really good album. The vocalist is kind of like in the vein of Jello Biafra, or the singer from Rudimentary Penile. He's in that camp. Really good album though, man. It's not run-of-the-mill punk, which kind of Exploited, you could say, are. Very good album. And if I ever find their album Wisconsin, I'll pick that one up. Now back to the 60s, we got Ivory. This is actually a white label promo, so that's a pretty cool find. This is an album I had been searching for, and when I saw it at Underground Records, I got a boner, man. It's fantastic. I don't know how psych it is. I guess it's kind of in that vein. The vocalist is kind of like Grace Slick, but I think she actually has a better voice than Grace Slick. It's a 3-piece band, really good album. Probably 68 or something like that. I haven't been saying what years most of these are, but whatever. Another 60s one is The Hobbits, Down to Middle Earth. Now this is more in the poppy vein than that, Ivory. This is kind of sunshiny, poppy. There are some songs with some really, like, Hands and Knife. I think Your Mind. Yeah, Your Mind, maybe, yeah. Those ones have some heavy psych leanings. But it's not really a psych album. It's more of like a Baroque pop, whimsical, maybe harpsichord-y psych, if you want to call it that. Really cool cover. And I really liked it. Now this next one is a bit different than anything I've shown. And it's the Mummies. Play Their Own Record. Yeah. Budget rock is what they call it. But like somebody pointed out to me, I think it was Cosmic Brian. You know, they call themselves budget rock, but their records are pretty expensive when you find them. But yeah, this is fantastic. It's a comp. Man, I thought I'd be able to get through this without having a drink, but whatever. This is brought to you by Cayman Jack Watermelon Margarita. Holy mackerel. It's too early for that. Yeah, this is a comp. I believe it came out the same year as their first album. I don't know which one came out first. Blockhead assured me the other one did, but whatever. It's really cool. Very lo-fi. It's on the lo-fi of the lo-fi spectrum, man. It's lo-fi. And the opposite of that is the Yellow Balloon. Another 60s record. Very poppy, sunshiny poppy. Even verging on Partridge Family at times. I mean, I had heard this years ago. Well, about 8 years ago, I saw it at Going Underground record. And I streamed it and I hated it. Then I saw it there this past year, or it's still this year. And I thought, I remember that one. And when I got home that next weekend, in the backyard drinking some beers, streaming some records, I thought, let me stream that Yellow Balloon. And I fucking loved it. I don't know if I'm getting soft at my old age or what, but man, this is great. And out of all of these, this is one of the ones that I played the most, to be quite honest. The next one's another 60s, the Orient Express. It's Western music and Eastern music blended together, with the Eastern music being featured very prominently. One guy is from Iran. The other guy's from France, and he was really into the Eastern music. And those two guys hooked up first. Then they got another guy from somewhere in Europe, and he's the one that brought in the more Western influence. They flew to the U.S., and this was recorded actually in New York City, though they were all like two from Europe and one from Asia. But this is really fantastic. I really like this album. It's kind of the opposite of the Yellow Balloon. This is one of those records, if I put it on, some of the songs my wife is going to say, what the hell are you listening to? You know, it's that type of thing. Now, probably, this next one is probably the best psych album that I got, 60s psych album that I picked up this past year, and it's the West Coast Pop Art Experimental Band, Volume 2. Maybe one of the worst band names ever, but whatever. Fantastic album. I'm told Bob Marley has a solo album out that I would probably like. They do have one, well, actually, I don't have their debut, which is on a different label. This is on Reprise. and their last album, which is Who's Your Daddy or whatever, that kind of weird. That was kind of softer, acoustic sounding. It's okay. If I find it, I find it. But I'm not going to go online and pay a lot of money for it. But I heard the solo album of his is more in line with this. Fantastic. This is top of the line psych music, in my opinion. Now, this next one is a little more common, but definitely psych, and it's the Byrds, Younger Than Yesterday. And why I'm including this, I was psyched to find this copy. It's the only Byrds album that I didn't own, besides some, comps or live stuff. Out of their studio albums, this was the last one. And I have played the Yellow Balloon a lot, but lately I've been playing this one a lot more. This one's been getting heavy rotation. And I believe my last used vinyl find in the shrink is The Mummies, Running on Empty, Volume 1. Guy sitting on the toilet, the pose that Frank Zappa made famous. Now, Blockhead assures me that there's a Volume 2. So, I don't know, man. I might get some more Mummies. Now, I did have the Mummies' very first 7-inch, and I sold that. I think I'm going to get rid of most of my 7-inches and just concentrate on albums. And I've been getting rid of a lot of albums, too. But yeah, this is very, like I said, lo-fi. Side 1 of this is basically recordings done in the 80s before they were even called the Mummies. And side 2 is a live set in San Francisco, probably at a small club. And they do a really energetic set. And they really get the crowd involved in it. It's really a good album. Now, my 3 favorite releases from 2024. Now, I can't do... The days of me buying a lot of new releases are long gone. I'm retired now. Prices of things have gone through the roof. And it's more of a struggle now than when I first retired. I mean, just a few years ago. So I can't do like the best box sets of the year or the best releases of the year. I may have bought a couple of other new releases. I don't know. But these might be my only 3. So I can't really say they're the best. But we got, what is it? Total Hell. Killed by Evil. This is their second release. I kind of like their first one better. The first one was more punk rockier than this one. They refer to their music as first wave of shitty heavy metal. My next favorite, they're not in no order, is Sharon is Karen. I just recently picked this up, and it's from our buddy Louis Golden in the vinyl community. And yeah, he's a really nice guy, really cool vocals. My wife was kind of iffy on it. She made a statement like, "Is that like a little kid doing the singing or something like that?" And I go, "Huh, what are you talking about, man?" I actually like it. And my third is Ryan Kidd, Dead in Memphis. This is the test pressing. I don't know, there was like 10 of these or something. And this is the limited press, Dead in Memphis. I think there was maybe 50 of these in black vinyl. And then there was 150 pressed with this really beautiful splatter vinyl. And it's kind of funny, man. Brian's cool, man. He made the black vinyl the limited one, which I thought was pretty funny. And you got this picture here. Both of these shots are from a Sylvester Stallone movie from the 80s, Cobra. Pretty cheesy movie. And really good album, man. Might be my favorite of the 3, but I'm not going to rank them. Yeah, I love Brian, man. Or Ryan. Brian. I love Ryan. He's a cool guy. And got a good heart, man. Unless it's all a facade. You never know, man. Take care. I'll be back in a few days or a week or whatever.